Well, hello, everybody. Greetings and welcome to another Tech Tip Tuesday. Here it is, October 18th. My name's Ken Close. I'm your host for tonight, a board member in the USA for Healy World, as well as an electronics engineer and a few years of experience with the product and in the Healy world. I'm joined by my awesome partner, Jake Barron, with Head of Operations for Americas. Hey, Jake, how you doing?
Hey Ken, how are you? And we've got Taylor helping us on the chat tonight from our tech support team. So any questions, go ahead and put those in the chat and you'll see her under the Healy tech support name.
Right on. Welcome, Taylor. Thank you so much. A little secret, probably one of my favorite customer service agents. Thanks for being here. I'm glad you're here. So let me tell you a little bit about what we do. If you guys are new, well, first of all, welcome, and I'm glad you're here. But secondly, what we do here, this is a chat-based forum. So anything that is going on in the technical world of Healy, with the pink dot, the blue dot, the apps, the functions, programs, all that kind of good stuff. That's what we talk about here. What we can't talk about is how to diagnose, prevent, treat, or advise on any kind of illness or disease or programs associated for such. So, but everything else we're pretty much open to and have unpacked many, many topics, including maybe a little philosophy. So thank you all for being here. Let's just see what's come up. Anybody got any questions? Let's start the ball rolling.
Okay. Looks like everyone's getting ready to put their questions into the chat. So
I know, right? The fingers are tapping away, I'll bet, just getting ready to go. Kind of a small crowd tonight, but that's okay. Hey, like I said, if there's somebody out there that you know of that has been having some issues, or, you know, even just clarity. Sometimes we just unpack some things to a point of gaining a better clarity about how to use Healy. That's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, so actually there was one thing I wanted to point out on the call today regarding the new Healy app, or the MagHealy app. You'll see that behind Ken's left shoulder there, or yeah, on the screen. But one thing, there was an update a couple of days ago. I think it was 4 days ago. There was a small update to it. Some of the fonts and things changed a little bit, but one of the main differences is something that we covered actually on one of our Healy for Beginners and Beyond call. Actually, we covered it on this call too, for a little bit. But so when there's not the current's not flowing, insufficient flow, improper connection, bad connectivity, whatever you want to call it. So in the old or the current pink dot app, that was where you would see the black line going around the circle. And then when we launched the new Healy app, that's where we've talked about this on the call, that how do you know the black line's gone? It was replaced by that gray static image in the middle there. When it's proper, the connection's proper, you see there's a frequency wave that's kind of flowing and in motion right there. But in the most recent update, you'll see that gray line got replaced with something more direct, and you can't confuse it. It says current flow insufficient. So there's no guessing what this stands for, or what that stands for, or whatever. It just says it right there. So if you see that, those words written at the bottom there, just go ahead and increase the intensity a little bit to a level that's comfortable for you, but to where that word goes away and you can see the flowing frequency wave there. So.
Another thing to consider too is the lower frequency. You see the center picture there is 92.1 hertz. The one on the right there is 194 hertz. And then on the far left, you see 622.1 hertz on the old, other app picture. So the frequencies themselves, the lower they are, in other words, 400 hertz or less, sometimes 500 hertz, depends on you. But the lower they are, the more what I call closer to density. In other words, the density of the body. A lower frequency takes a little more power to get through the body sometimes. So you may notice that the higher frequencies, say above 400, 500, 600 hertz, you can have the intensity lower, but then suddenly when it switches over, which is an automatic function of the app, when it looks for another frequency and implements that, that you may go to a black line or the insufficient or the current flow insufficient. So just watch the app, get to know your Healy and how your body functions with it, so that in case that happens, you'll want to find a happy medium. So somewhere when you're at those lower frequencies, you can still have the intensity proper and keep the current flow. Hopefully that makes sense, everybody.
Yeah.
If there's any questions, obviously add them in the chat. All right.
Okay.
Well, here's a question, or see, Pam says, my husband's Healy Blue Dot has had 2 download at the best the last 4 times he has used it. Why? I'm not sure what is had to download.
Maybe she's talking about syncing, possibly. I don't.
So anytime, if you have your app set to auto sync, every time you open the app, it's going to automatically start to synchronize the data within the app to your Healy cloud. This is going to be an automatic function. And so what that means is it's going to want to have a data access with your smart device. In other words, it needs to have a Wi-Fi, needs to have some sort of a cellular data system in order to communicate with the cloud via online. So if that's not happening, then if you don't have that access point, first of all, with the smart device, then the app's not going to be able to download. It's going to stall out, and it's going to sit there and try to do things in the background while you're trying to actually perform a Blue Dot function, such as a scan. So if you want that to not happen, you'll need to go into the settings and turn the auto sync off so that it just doesn't do that. But remember, if you do turn it off, you're going to want to go in there and manually go ahead and do a synchronization periodically. It depends on how often you use the Blue Dot. If you do a lot of scans, if you have a lot of clients you're adding, you're going to want to do it a minimum once a week. But if you're not doing it that much, I don't know, you can go a little longer. I like to update. I have my auto sync turned off, but I also go in and manually sync at least twice, maybe 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
So this next question, I think it's an easy solution. So there's someone having trouble with their running pink dot programs. They can run the pane programs, but the others just go back to the main menu. So that looping issue where you try to run a program, it takes you back to the main menu, and you end up not being able to do anything. They follow the FAQ suggestions and they didn't fix it. And they have the iPhone Pro 11 running 15.7. So go ahead and download the new Healy app. If you go to the App Store, type in MagHealy. It's listed as MagHealy. Ken's pointing to it right there as well. But yeah, it's listed as MagHealy. But once you download it to your phone, it just says Healy and the Healy app. It's not the pink dot app. It's the pink wave app. I guess we could possibly start to call that. But you don't need to have a MagHealy to use this app. You can use your regular Healy device with this app, and that will fix that issue that you're having with the looping back and forth. So the first time you connect your Healy to that new app, though, you will need to download the update. It should pop up on the home screen at the very top that update's available, and that will pull all of your programs that you have on your account onto that app, and you should be good to go from there.
Yeah, that new app platform does eliminate some of the old things we were having. Again, the other Healy app, this one here that I'm pointing to, the pink dot we call it affectionately, which is on an older platform. And so it's moving over to this new platform. It's very amazing. So definitely switch over and use that other one. It'll help you out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I run it all the time. That's all I ever use anymore.
Yeah, I've moved on as well.
I've moved on. Well, we're going to have to, just like, sometimes the hardware that, Gwen says that she's got the iPhone Pro 11, nobody has the iPhone 3 anymore. Right? Remember those?
Yeah.
So they're just not running anymore because they're obsolete. Okay. So Gordon says, I'm thinking about purchasing another app. I'm not sure. You don't have to purchase another app, by the way. Maybe you mean you're purchasing another Healy?
Yeah, I think he's talking about purchasing another program, either a program group or a module to go along with it.
Yeah. So if you are purchasing one of the subscription modules or another subscription page, a program group, then you're going to need to apply it to a specific serial number. And the question here is it just added to one account, or will it only be applicable to one unit? So it's essentially one of the serial numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you can,
yeah, when you go to, sorry, no, I was gonna say, when you go to purchase it from the drop-down box, you're gonna have to pick which serial number you want it to be associated with. So
yeah, and they'll be in your account. The ones you've already purchased, they're on the same account. Your serial numbers will be there. Just decide which one you want it to be assigned to. You can change that later, if you want, but think about where you want that additional program group. Okay. Okay, so Teresa says, when I tried to reinstall the Healy app, the blue dot, it's telling me to import the master key to be able to sync your data to the cloud. I can't find the master key in any of my files. So make sure, first of all, that you've got the latest version of the Blue Dot app, because there's a new system. Right? It's not a master key anymore. Now, when you go to log in, it's going to actually send you a code via email. And then you have to go to your email, retrieve the code, bring it back to the app, put in the code, and then it's going to synchronize, or I should say authenticate, your app to your account. So it's not the master key anymore.
yeah, and also if you're looking for it, say it's forcing you to try to put in that master key and you can't find it in your files, maybe you emailed it to yourself at one point as well and didn't actually save it on your device, but it may have been in an email, possibly somewhere as an attachment, which you could then save and go from there too.
Yeah, I like to go to it's like, if you have an iPhone and you go over to, you essentially swipe all the way to the right, there'll be a search function on the device, and you can just put in master key, and it'll look for anywhere where the word master key is in, like your Dropbox or your emails or anything within access of your smart device. And so that's a pretty cool feature to search far and wide amongst all the different apps and platforms and whatever for your smart device. So that's a pretty good way of getting in there.
Yep.
All right. Looks like Taylor's in the background, just putting all kinds of great content in there, you guys. And sometimes you may want to save the chat, by the way, folks. So I just always like to remind everybody how to do that. There, where you're going to type your chat message at the bottom of your screen. There's a little smiley face on the right with the 3 little dots. Click on those 3 little dots, a drop-down menu pops up, and you're able to save chat. But you only can save it to your computer. If you're on a smart device right now, you won't be able to save it. But at the end of the call, you'll pop-up screen will come up and says, save chat, and you can put it anywhere on in your hard drive, on your browser, somewhere, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got a comment from Izzy. Welcome to the call, Izzy. But she said she's moved on to the new Healy app, but she can't see the pictures, the white on gray. So she goes to the old app to see the pictures. And she mentioned that she submitted a suggestion for more contrast and better pictures. So yeah, we love to get feedback, of course. And that little change that I mentioned earlier on the call, where that gray static bar was replaced with words that just make it clear, so there's no room for confusion or anything like that. Current flow insufficient. So little things like that. That app is new. It's going to continue to be optimized for the Healy device, and little changes like that can certainly be, I'm sure, incorporated over time. So.
Yeah, the white text and the white icons and such that are within the program group, whatever color the program group is. If it's green, then you have white text. If it's pink, you have white text. But if it's a gray, you may have a little bit struggle seeing the white content. But yeah, it's great suggestions. It's always nice to, and again, just like, remember, I don't know, some of you guys are maybe old timers like myself, been around for about 3 years now with Healy. you remember some of the things we've been going through, the updates and the shifts and the changes. I'm grateful for how Healy is adopting new things from the field, as well as adapting to current changes in technology. So yay. And he's giving kudos to the tech, how amazing they are to respond to us. And that's, again, I remember once upon a time, it took quite a while to get, through the issues through tech support. And now the response time is really quick. I mean, Jake, you've got the stats on how quickly the turnaround is on a customer service ticket.
Yeah, where it's the initial response and first response and the number of tickets we can solve on the first reply are certainly increasing. And we have, our goal is obviously to be within 24 to 48 hours, and we're getting very, very close to that. And we're starting to put in our plans into place for 2023 now as well. And we've got it's going to be, I think, really good. Everyone's going to be really happy with the progress we continue to make and the level of service we're going to be able to provide going forward. And Taylor is a big part of that as well. So thank you, Taylor.
Yay, Taylor. Right on. Thank you.
So, we can't answer this question that I see here, but this is one of the more fun questions I've ever seen on Tech Tip Tuesday. Do you think Marcus could invent a time machine? So, I don't think there's an answer for that, but certainly thank you for asking.
I love that question, because actually what we've talked about, and this was, I talked to Marcus personally about this, is creating a Kozyrev mirror chamber. Now, think about what Time Waver and Healy uses, and the MagHealy uses, is a Kozyrev mirror. And Kozyrev mirror is an orientation of a metallic material that actually accelerates photons beyond the speed of light. So you're now in almost a 0 point. Well, you are in a 0 point field. And so what happens in there? They have one of these chambers in Germany, and they've had many reports of people going in there and literally being within different dimensions, communicating with other times and such like that. So I had a conversation about building one at corporate US. I thought, man, that would be great to go in there, right? And have somebody in Germany in their Kozyrev mirror chamber, and we just have some fun with no time, no space. I don't know, just saying. Kind of pretty close to a time machine to me, I think.
Yeah. There'll certainly be lots of new developments coming in the future, but
let's put that intention out there to I'm an engineer. I would be happy to build one here in the US. We get good reason to go to corporate and just do a little time machine warp.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so Gordon says, I recently did a blue dot analysis search for of each main category. One item was the bioenergetic coherence, resonance 149, and bioenergetic boost value 129. After doing some research, it stated having to do with wave coherence. If I understand this correctly, it's about balancing the fields. Does this apply only to the brain, or is it across the whole body? Could you clarify this? If this is only the head, can I use the ear clips with the cables? So let's see. So you use the blue dot to do an analysis, and you searched with the main category. I'm assuming that when it came up with bioenergetic coherence, that that was I'm assuming that was the number one. And then bioenergetic boost was number two. So in other words, you would have used one of the program groups. I'm just trying to figure out what you're exactly saying here, because when you're running the blue dot, of course, if you're running in vibrate mode, utilizing whatever suggestion of programs that the scan has come up with, then of course you're not connected to the Healy in any way. That's just running through your field. But then if you go to the microcurrent part of the system and then implement those into your body, the program itself dictates how you connect. Okay. So in other words, if it's coherence, the coherence program tells you to connect. It shows you a picture of how to connect essentially to the body using the wristbands. Okay. Can you use other ways? Well, sure. But if the alignment is coherence, it's going to be a full body coherence alignment energetically. And so therefore it's going to look at running the microcurrent through the entire body. Now, I want you guys to understand microcurrent or current flow in general. This is electron flow. It's electron flow within a conductor from point A to point B. And with Healy, point A and point B is terminal plus and terminal minus, whatever these two wires are connected to, however you have connected. And then it goes through the body, right? Left and right. And this is electron flow through the body. The body is the conductor. And essentially using minerals and water, the conductivity of the body to run this electron flow through your body. And this electron flow is pulsed at the frequencies that the program has chosen for the alignment of its modality. Okay, you follow me so far? Now, this is global. It's a global effect within the body. When I say global, I'm talking about the interior of the body. It's a global effect. We're talking electron flow. Electron flows are small. There's millions within a cell. So that's a lot of information going through it. And within the electron is information. And so where you're connected to the body is almost irrelevant when you're talking about connecting for a purpose of the program's goal. And so if it's telling you to connect by the wristbands, connect by the wristbands, because it's gonna infuse this content, this information throughout the entire body. Our body communicates cell to cell by the water, or essentially at the speed of light, the light frequency within the water of our body, intracellular and extracellular, in the cell and out of the cell. So this communication system is instantaneous. It's hard for us to fathom electrons and how minute they are and how they communicate at the speed of light. So much is going on instantaneously that it's hard for our mind to fathom. So by connecting to your body in the way that the program is asking you to, you're going to get the maximum benefit from the program, no matter what the program is. Okay. Hopefully that sums it up for you.
Yep.
Anything you want to add to that, Jake?
No, you got it all.
Okay. Pam says, yes, a time machine. Let's go. Here we go.
Kayla has a question. Says, when I ran a program in the new Healy app, with or without the coil, I got the message current flow insufficient. So that's the message that we showed at the beginning of this call, which is essentially the same thing as what the black line would indicate in the Healy Pink Dot app, or up until a few days ago, it was the gray sort of static image in the new Healy app, and that's been replaced by the words current flow insufficient. So essentially the same things that you would do to overcome the black line in the Healy Pink Dot app is what you would do for that. You know, whether it's increase the intensity a little bit till that three words go away. You know, wet the wristbands, hydrate. You know, all the typical things as well there. Ken, anything else you could check?
Well, so running it without the coil, obviously, I'm assuming then you are connected via the wrist bracelets and running it through there. You know, of course, if we're just running the Healy by itself, let's say like from the protection page, you know, where you don't have to be connected to the Healy, you just put it in your pocket, then you're not going to have any conductivity. You're not going to have a reading on the app that shows you it's going to give you that same message of current flow insufficient. But it's still working, right? But if you're running and by the way, you can connect to the wristbands or the sticky pads and connect the wires and all that, even on that page too. But if you are connected properly and you're getting that current insufficient reading, it's the same as the old app in which it was saying black, you know, and showing insufficient connectivity, where we're going to have to increase current flow, check connection between the wristbands and the skin. And even at worst case scenarios, check our wires. Now, again, you can do a test, this test that I've demonstrated before in the past, where you can check the circuitry of your Healy through just not connecting it to your body, but by taking the wristbands. Let me just really quickly go over this. But you've got the two wristbands, right? And you connect the wires up to the wristbands, plug them in, and then run a microcurrent program with Healy, turn it on. So you got the wristbands connected to nothing. They're not on your body, but you have the wires connected to the wristbands. Then take, you see the back side here, where the part would normally touch your skin. I always just put the essentially snap to snap position together on the wristband and pinch it with my fingers. So that's the side that would normally touch your skin. Put it together, and while you're running the Healy, and you'll see the current flow engage, because you're connected to the Healy on the other side and you're running a microcurrent program. If you do not, and it doesn't matter, you can be at very low intensity, like 15%, which is the default. You're still going to get conductivity. And if you do not, now we may have a suspicious wire or wristband problem. Okay, so this is the way that you kind of make sure that your hardware is functioning properly. All right, so that's how you do that.
Yeah, Ken, actually, it was funny. It was probably 2 months ago now. I wear my wristbands a lot with the connection cables, and I have caught these cables on so many things, so many chairs and stuff, and to the point where I'm like, I probably broke it this time. But it's always worked fine. But finally, after, I don't know, 1,000 times of catching it on something, I finally had one that got messed up to the point where it no longer provided the right connection. Luckily, I had some extra cables around, and I was able to identify specifically which one was bad now. So that's why we always do recommend, if you have the opportunity to have an extra, at least one extra cable on hand. We sell them individually in the shop, in the accessories section, but always great to have an extra one on hand, because you never know when you're gonna accidentally get it caught on something, or you're cooking and you chop it with a knife, or who knows. But
I tore the end right off of one of my wires one time, and
yeah.
I'm like you. I wear my Healy when I'm doing everything, and so yeah, I do the same. If you'll notice though, I mean, if I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt or whatever, I run my wires down my shirt, and it goes out the armhole. And if I'm wearing a hoodie or something long sleeve, then my wires are all inside my clothing, so you really don't always see it. But yeah, it's the way that I'm staying active, as well as being able to still use my Healy. There's no reason why you can't.
Yeah. Michaela mentioned, so good feedback there, but she mentioned that she's getting that message also, even just running the coil at 100% as well. So I'm wondering if it's possible maybe she has something stuck on the where you plug the cables or the coil into the actual Healy device, that's preventing a proper connection or something like that.
Yeah, there has been in the past, by the way, folks, that the wires themselves, inside the wire socket, this is actually a small, inside there, it's like a two-piece metallic system, and part of it is an outer ring that when you press it onto the pin that's inside the Healy, it actually creates a mechanical bond or a mechanical crimping, and that inner ring can get broken off. I've seen this. It's rare, but it happens, and it gets broken off, and it gets stuck on the pin inside the Healy. And so what you do is you get a flashlight, look inside there, you unplug it, and look at the two pins and make sure that they look exactly the same. Because if that ring is, or that it's a little cylinder looking thing, if it's broke off inside there, one pin will look fatter than the other because it's got an extra mass of metal wrapped around it. And then when you put the coil on, or attempt to put the coil on, or attempt to plug your wires in, one wire either sometimes won't plug in at all, or it won't get any conductivity because it's an open circuit is what we call it in electronics. And so take a look, inspect that very closely. And it can be removed mechanically by yourself. I've done it many times over the phone with people. Well, not many because it hasn't happened that often, but
Yeah.
but also customer service can help you out in case you need a warranty or something. Okay.
We had another question here about the Healy Pink Dot app. I think it's the same issue that was we talked about a little bit earlier. So anytime they try to run a program, it kicks them out without running the program. I'm assuming it's the same issue that we discussed, where it kind of puts you back to the main menu. You try to run a program, it puts you back to the main menu, and you're kind of stuck in this loop. But if that is the issue that you're having, go ahead and, as we mentioned before, just download the new Healy app. So go to the App Store or the Google Play Store, type in MagHealy, and the app will pop up. It's instead of the pink dot app underneath the Healy, it's kind of these pink waves underneath it, and the app itself, once it's on your phone, just says Healy. But you can go ahead and connect your Healy device to that app, and that should fix that program too, or fix that issue too. Sorry.
I like Janine's kind of comment of what Janine has learned about the wristband connection, the white and black within the pink app. So I do want to expand a little bit on references here. One of the comments I hear people talk about the frequencies or vibrations. I increase the frequencies by increasing the amplitude, the plus and minus, or increase the vibrations by increasing the plus and minus within the app. So I want to clarify, when you increase the plus and the minus, when you're increasing amplitude, the percentage, so anywhere from 0% up to 100%, what you're actually doing there, folks, is it has nothing to do with the frequencies. Okay. The frequencies themselves, or I should say the amplitude of the frequencies, are going to be set by Healy. You're going to increase the current flow through the body in which carries those frequencies. So in other words, the microcurrent, picture it like a pail of water. The microcurrent is the pail, and inside the pail, aka the water, are the frequencies. And so the microcurrent is carrying those frequencies through the water or the conductive material of your body, which is minerals and water, and then applying those through to the cell structures, right, at the electron level. So the cool thing is the frequencies you'll notice that are on the screen, like we saw that Jake showed us up there, was some of it was in the 600s, some of it was in the 90s. Those frequencies are set by the program and finding resonance with your body to dial in the exact frequencies for you for the purpose of the program. So those are set. And so you're not really increasing the amplitude of the frequency. You're simply increasing the carrier, the mechanism to get it through your body. So then the cells receive that message. It's information. Frequency is just information speaking to the cell structures, systems, and organs of your body to make them energetically aligned. So I want to make sure that we promote this to the field, that we're not actually increasing the frequencies or the vibration. We're increasing the current flow through the body that carries all that content so that you're more efficiently and more effectively getting them into your body. Does that help? All right.
I love seeing these success stories in here. You know, Teresa had that issue with the Analyze app, not be able to get in because of the master key. She downloaded the new app and was able to successfully get it up and running again. And Gwen downloaded the new MagHealy app or the Healy app and fixed the issue she was having with the looping back to the main menu. So that's why we do this call. To help get you up and running. And you can also share these tips and the things that you learned with people on your team. So you're better able to assist as well.
Exactly. This is why we're here every week. And then also there's lots of recordings of these calls, so you guys can go back and take a look of, leisurely listening, right?
Yeah.
to Jake and I. Hey, what's going on? All right. I do like those success stories. So Gwen asks, how can I join the Team Healy USA group on Telegram? So there's the link. Go in there and join up. Now, I want to make sure that folks, when we have had a lot of issues with spammers, trolls, kind of trying to take our members' content. So if you have concerns about that, make your phone number private on your account, but you do need to have your name there. So you can't have, Healy USA as your, like what you call your handle. We need your name in there because the admins aren't going to let people in there with just a handle. We need your name. And the reason is because we get so many spammers and people trying to cultivate leads. And and we do our best. Trust me, we do our best to kick them out. But I'll tell you, people get in there and they start spamming you right away. But as you notice, that group is a one-directional information highway. So people can't comment, can't put a lot of stuff in there, just the admins. We just want to make it effective and protect you guys. So make sure that your account has your name on it or you won't get in. All right. Okay, so Gwen gets a screen that says that the group is private. Okay, so what that means is that it's, for some reason, it's your name, your number, I should say, your number or your account has been, I don't know, either probably flagged for some reason, but can't get in there. So what I want you to do, Gwen, is if you would, is send me a private message here with what your name is on Telegram and your phone number associated with it. So then I can go in and help you out. Okay. Send it to me privately.
If you join just using like your initials or something like that, then it's probably one of the reasons why.
Yeah. I want to know what your account looks like on Telegram because that'll help. It needs to have your name. And then also if you've got your full name and you give me your private information about the name, a number associated with it, I can get you in there. But again, make sure that it's got your name. Okay. All right. Elle, thank you for the kudos. She said, Gwen says this call is very helpful. Thank you. Love that.
Yeah. And thank you, Taylor, for putting in the chat here. Lori asked about where we can get recordings of these calls, and you can always go to our HealyAmericas.com page. It takes you right to our YouTube page. The page name is actually Healy World Americas within YouTube, but all these Tech Tip Tuesday recordings are put in there, typically available the day after the call. And every single question that we talk about on the call, we hyperlink it. So it's every question is listed out there. So if you want to go back and review just one specific part, you can just click on the timestamp for that question, and it'll take you right to that part of the call where we discussed that topic.
Yeah, this is, I know what it takes to do that. So thank you, Jake. It's a little time consuming because you got to go in there and put that content in there, but that's perfect. Such a tool, a great tool for being able to be more efficient in terms of, finding what you exactly want to see. I like that. And you can also, when you click on the hyperlink, it'll fast forward the video to that spot. And then if you click share, you send it to somebody, it should also send them the video starting at that spot.
Yeah, you can do it that way. Or if you just right click on the hyperlink too and copy the link address from there, that'll also, if you send that, then it'll take them right to, hey, check out this answer to the pink dot issue and send it to the people on your team, and you're good to go. So
Yep. Okay. So looks like Nancy had the same issue with Telegram. So thank you, Nancy, for giving me your information. I will see what I can do for you. I mean, I always have to check with the administration. I don't know, if they accidentally did it or did it on purpose for some weird reason, but I will check and make sure all's good and then get you back in there. And also, by the way, folks, I've seen, I don't know if it's a Telegram thing or somebody's figured out how to hack the system. I've seen people get kicked out, and I checked with the administrators of the group, and they just like, none of them did that. So I'm not sure where those things are happening, but we'll get you back in there. Okay. What else we got?
We're caught up right now.
Caught up? Wow. Is there, okay. Well, is there anything, have you guys, oh, here's something just came in. I'm going to copy this information from Nancy down if you want to unpack that one.
Okay, let me see what we got here. It says a few weeks back they volunteered for the beta MagHealy app pre-release. Okay, so the new MagHealy or Healy app. It worked fine, no hiccups. The only thing I didn't like was the small fonts, which yes, that's definitely one of the feedback we've received, and it's been passed on to the app developers. But now that it's released, they said they're starting to have a few dropouts, and or the blue light would stay on. I tried everything to get the blue light to go off automatic. Nothing worked. This morning, I shut the Bluetooth off, reset the unit, shut the cell phone off, making sure no open pages, permanently deleted the app, not just the screen icon, reinstalled the app, did update, turned Bluetooth on, powered up the unit, picked the app, ran the app, blue light stayed on. I know I can go to Bluetooth and recycle, but I shouldn't have to do this. No problem on the pink dot. Thanks for, so I don't know. I have not, so it sounds like they were trying to close out the app, but the Bluetooth connection is still staying on there. So maybe they're maybe they already started up the program and then they just want to close it out and let that program continue to run on their Healy device without the active Bluetooth connection. I have not experienced this at all or heard of anyone having this issue with the new Healy app, as far as that connection sort of staying on even after the app is fully closed out. And they mentioned that they've, you can turn the Bluetooth off on the phone, of course. But I don't, Ken, any ideas of what is that? It doesn't sound like anything that would be specific. I know you mentioned it's that the problem on the Healy Pink Dot app, but it doesn't sound like anything that should be specific to the app itself. But
so Healy has the Bluetooth chip that's in Healy is kind of a unique system. It has a very specific bidirectional handshake process that's required. And so it's almost like a digital latch, like a light switch. So in other words, when you make sure, again, that your Healy's turned on first, then you open your app. Because when you go into the app and you find, connect to Healy or whatever the command is, if it's the new app, it's going to have probably a list of serial numbers you've already opened in the past. But if it's a first time event, it's not. It's just going to need to scan the QR code. But the point is you turn the Healy on first, app second, and what that does is it puts the Healy Bluetooth chip into seek mode. And it's basically, it's looking for a signal from the app, a very specific signal from the app. So in other words, other apps that are looking for Bluetooth devices, such as some of the audio apps, right? They're looking, and it's going to have a signal going out too. But it won't connect to Healy because it's a different directional signaling. So in other words, you turn, let's just say you turn on a speaker, a Bluetooth speaker. The Bluetooth speaker then shows up on your smart device, and it can be connected to it at any time, but by any app. So when it comes to the Healy app, the only thing that can connect to the Healy app is a Healy with the proper Bluetooth chip signal. Okay, so nothing else can be connected. A speaker, a microphone, nothing else can be connected to the app. So when that latch is connected to the app, it kind of throws the switch on the Healy, and now Healy is locked into the app. Okay, so no other Healy app can come in and hold hostage your Healy. It can't. It's locked in. So it is possible for that latch to stay on even when the Healy is off, if there's something going on within the digital circuitry of that Bluetooth chip. It's probably random. By cycling the power off and back on with your Healy, it will probably go away, but it could be a individual case-by-case thing that happens. If it's persistent, then it could be a defective issue with the Bluetooth chip in the Healy itself. But I haven't actually experienced that, but that's
that would be an extremely rare
yeah.
situation there. But.
Yeah, theoretically, and based on the way that the system works, it is possible for that to happen. But yeah, just try resetting.
Yeah, and that is one of the things in the current Healy Pink Dot app. There is a way, as you mentioned, to actually just turn off the Bluetooth chip within the app itself.
Yep.
That is a planned feature for the new Healy app. It's not available yet, but you will be able to, at some point via one of the updates, be able to turn that chip off as well through the app too. So, maybe that's what the solution might end up being in this case, but
yeah, if you have Healy hardware firmware version 2.29, then it should show up on the app, a little green switch at the top of the app that is how you turn the Bluetooth off. So that if you go into that Pink Dot app and you connect your Healy via that Pink Dot app, and then you go up and switch that Bluetooth switch off, it's like manually hitting the switch within the latch of the Bluetooth chip inside the Healy. It's like manually flicking the switch and it will turn it off. But remember, in order to turn it back on, you have to press the Healy on button twice before re-engaging the app, or it won't turn that Bluetooth chip back on and you won't be able to connect. I have people that say, well, now I can't connect to my Bluetooth. Something's wrong. Well, know the procedure in which you can turn that back on by pressing that power button twice on, and then you're good. You're good.
Okay. I like this question here, Ken. So Michaela wants to know, is there a way to lengthen the battery life of the MagHealy from 4.5 hours to 8 to 10 so that programs can run longer without having to charge? So to try to double the battery life, that's probably a stretch there, but certainly there's things you could do. I mean, just the basics, of course. The higher the intensity you run the MagHealy, the quicker the battery life is going to drain. So you'll notice on the MagHealy app guide itself, there's a very wide range of recommended intensity for a lot of the programs. Some of them are specific, 70 to 100%. So that's the higher end of the range. But some of the other programs, like all the atmosphere programs, the recommended range is 30 to 100%. So if you're running it at 100% versus 30%, there's going to be a huge, but there's going to be a big difference in the battery life. And then, of course, the position number 3 on the MagHealy, the one where the lights are flashing on the sides too, that's going to have a bit of an impact as well. So really, the only thing you can really do to extend the battery life is to keep it in position 2, and then also run at the lower end of the intensity range. As far as I know, can anything?
No, that's it. I mean, running it within the boundaries of the program's request for intensity, as well as not running the lights. That's going to help, but it is going to be a matter of you're running it for longer than that. That's 5 hours. You can run it while it's sitting on the charger. I recommend that you allow the system, the MagHealy, to deplete the battery completely occasionally. I mean, daily. And then recharge it fully. So in other words, make sure that you're giving it a break to where you can discharge that battery completely and then recharge it fully without running any programs, so that it can now cycle through its full range of function with the battery. But yeah.
So I guess the question, what she meant to ask or meant to add on there was that not can we do anything with the current one, but can we do anything in the future about this? So maybe a bigger battery, something like that. So, the product is essentially brand new right now, and anything's possible for the future as far as different components or things like that. But in general, I think most people find 4 to 5 hours is a typically good for being away from the charger. And then of course you can run it a lot longer or just overnight and things like that if you do have it on the charger at home, work, even plugged in your car if you're on a road trip or something like that. So
yeah. Yes. All right. What else do we got? Anybody ever wondering about anything about the Healy, how it, we got about 9 minutes here. I like being caught up. Well, the advantage of a smaller group. We've had many a time where we end the call, there's still many questions left unanswered, but
yeah. So actually it's not a huge deal, but there was a new release recently for the HealAdvisor Analyse app, the Blue Dot app, 1.21.3. Very small change, but typically you need to log in with your email address. That was the requirement. But now you can actually use your username as well if you want to for the login. Again, not any sort of major change here and there, but in case you're ever wanting to. We have had people that in the past where they said they haven't been able to log in, but it turned out they were using their username instead of their email address. So we've made it possible to be able to log in using either now. So.
And that's pretty great. I like that because, sometimes people have had issues with putting in a wrong email or something, and they have to remember to go back and put the wrong email in there to log in.
Yeah.
So I had that happen to a couple of people. They mistyped their email. They had to go in and use the mistyped email. Remember what that was, first of all, in order to actually log in. So now the username eliminates that.
Yeah.
So Izzy says, I thought of a good question today while I was on a call, but it was 3 calls ago and now it's gone. You got to write stuff down.
If you think of it, save it for next week. So
yeah, write it down. I love it. It's fun because, there are things that come in all the time. You're on a call, you're driving, or you're using your device in some way. And, you got to write that stuff down, and then we can unpack it here. I love to unpack questions or concepts of the Healy, just as we were talking about earlier around how the current flow through the body, and the frequencies don't necessarily change in their amplitude, but the delivery mechanism does, so that we can get it through the body. And I like to, some people have what I call thick skin. Now, I don't mean necessarily a reference to the skin itself, but the body itself is just less conductive. And I want to also open up a concept or understanding that when we're having troubles getting this current, microcurrent through our body, and we keep increasing the intensity, and we get this inconsistent reading or something like that. One of the things, if we've got the hydration proper with the wristbands, we got the connections all right. Another thing to consider, it's a scientific fact. Even in neuroscience, it's a fact of a mental resistance to things. In other words, a thought process, a belief structure that has perhaps even fear-based tendencies, that I'm concerned about my own body with X, Y, or Z. Those actually downregulate conductivity within the tissues, the cells, the systems of the body. In other words, create an internal resistance, just like a survival mechanism, to keep the body protected from any infusion of electron flow. Okay, well, if that's a mental capacity, that a mental ability that we have, and this is this is part of the epigenetics that I teach and talk about, is that our thought, the way we think, believe, and perceive, is going to have a high tendency of effect on this microcurrent. So maybe you know someone who's extremely skeptical and you've tried Healy on them, and maybe you had a hard time getting current flow. Well, there you go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. All right.
Yep. Like this question related to the MagHealy battery from Pam here says, is it going to make the MagHealy battery become less efficient if you use it while charging, as it does for other batteries? So as Ken mentioned, you definitely occasionally want to fully deplete the battery, and actually the first time you get it, you're going to want to go through 2 complete charging cycles where you fully deplete it, fully charge it in order to properly calibrate that battery. But then also an interesting thing here is one of our MagHealy FAQs. There's a note here that says, when the charge indicator reaches 99%, battery maintenance is performed, which can take up to 1 hour. So that's one of the things that help keep that battery, I guess, fresh or working properly there too. But yeah, you definitely, you don't want it 24/7, 365. You don't want to have it on the charger fully. You want to take it off there sometimes and fully deplete that. Ken, what else? Anything to add?
No, that's exactly right. To go ahead and cycle that battery, and the charge rate is different. It's just like the Healy itself. The battery charges up the first typically 80% within a very short period of time, but the last 20% is a much slower process, and so you want to make sure it continues until it completes.
Yep.
All right, you can start to down regulate that battery's capacity for full range operation. Okay. So Izzy has a comment here, actually, that makes a lot of sense. I'm always hydrated, but I found that sliding the bracelets up a couple of inches where my skin is softer seems to work better. I'm in the sun a lot and my skin is pretty tough. I always have I've always had skinny wrists, so I make sure that the electrodes are not right in the center, but to either side of my center of tendon. So think about this for a second. The smaller the wrist, the smaller the square inches of contact. All right. The bigger the diameter of the circle, the more surface area contact. So the better, the more surface area contact, meaning an increased tendency for conductivity, right? And so that's people with small wrists, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you notice that there are spots on your body in which you get better conductivity, especially ones who have smaller wrists, you could probably go way up on your forearms, you know what I mean? Because your arms are smaller diameter. And so you can go up higher and get beyond some of the more harder sections of your wrist. But even though you're over the tendons and bones, it's the skin, the conductivity of the skin, the outer layer of the skin that is creating that electron flow. The epidermis, or the skin, is the covers our entire body. And so this is a way of blanketing electron flow throughout the entire body. And the information is going to penetrate all the way through your body. So as long as you've got, again, proper amplitude of the percentage, as well as you got the indication on the app saying, yep, you're good to go for current flow, then you're fine. But test it. I mean, that's the best thing. I find different spots. I've actually I have an extension piece of Velcro strip that I will take and I will put these around my thighs in some places if I'm working with a muscle or something within the body that I don't want to use the sticky pads. I will actually take, and I have a piece of Velcro that I can actually use as an extension and still wrap the wristband around my entire leg. So be creative. It works.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we are, guys, at the end of the hour. Man, thank you so much for keeping us company and keeping us challenged and our brains working. I appreciate that. Thank you, Taylor, for the help in the background. I got a couple of phone numbers. I'm going to help you guys out on the Telegram group, see what we can do there. But again, go out there and tell folks about this call. Share it with the people in your groups, even with new people. We're always here to help, no matter if you're a member or customer, new or old. We're here to help solve the mysteries. So big loves to y'all. Thank you all for being here. Jake, thank you for your help. And we'll see y'all next week.
Thanks, everyone.